dear adventurers. It's Dozing Night. Welcome back to another quiet evening of shared tales and wandering through worlds unknown. Tonight, we embark on a journey to a time long past, where the echoes of ancient giants still whisper along windswept plains and tropical forests. Prepare yourselves for the dawn of Jurassic Park, Dinosaur Sleep Stories. Imagine, if you will, stepping back into an era where the earth trembled beneath the tread of creatures both magnificent and mysterious. In this tale, we'll softly tread the verdant landscapes at dawn, moving through the lush greenery where every rustle and distant call hints at the hidden presence of dinosaurs. Picture yourself walking beneath towering trees, their canopies dense and alive with the sounds of the ancient world waking up to a new day. You will meet gentle giants basking in the morning light and witness colorful skies reflecting in placid lakes where time seems suspended. But before we dive deeper into the past, I want to pose a question to our wonderful community of listeners. If you could wander through any historical epoch, which era would you choose, and what marvels would you hope to encounter? Would it be the grandeur of the dinosaur age, or perhaps the serenity of an ancient forest untouched by time? Share your thoughts with us as we create a tapestry of timeless dreams together. And if you're enjoying these adventures through worlds of dreams and imagination, consider subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll ensure you never miss a journey into these enchanting narratives, designed to soothe and inspire. Now let's take a moment to let go of the day's burdens. Find a comfortable position, close your eyes if it feels right, and take a deep, calming breath in. Hold it gently, and slowly release. Feel the tension melt away from your shoulders as you breathe out the worries of the day. Another deep breath in, and a long, relaxing exhale. With each breath, allow yourself to drift closer to a place of deep tranquility. As you sink into this state of calm, imagine the colors and sounds of the prehistoric paradise sprawling around you. Dinosaurs graze peacefully nearby, their presence a gentle reminder of nature's unyielding wonder. The air is filled with the fragrant perfume of wildflowers and the chorus of exotic birds, including the distant call of a pterosaur swooping gracefully overhead. Let yourself be drawn into this dreamscape, where every moment offers quiet beauty and discovery. And now, dear adventurers, with your heart open and your mind at ease, we turn the page to our story. The first rays of sunlight peeked over the green peaks of Isla Nublar, casting gentle golden streaks across a land that hummed quietly with ancient life. Early morning carried with it a delicate chill, and sheets of mist floated just above the jungle canopy. Even the mighty ferns seemed to stretch and yawn, their fronds uncurling in slow motion. It was the sort of morning that even restless triceratops mothers found hard to resist, and little dinosaur feet shuffled sleepily in leaf-littered clearings. On this extraordinary island, nestled in a secret corner of the world, dinosaurs roamed as the reigning residents, a most unusual arrangement for any sleepy morning in modern times. Parrish, the young Parasaurolophus, blinked his large amber eyes, careful not to disturb his mother's tail, which served as his blanket. Parrish yawned, his long crest bobbing, and tried to decide if it was time to rise or a moment to enjoy just a bit more warmth and safety. Sometimes, being a dinosaur came with tricky decisions. Nearby, tiny Troodon twins tumbled over each other by their nest, chattering in soft trills. They squabbled and then giggled, well, as much as small dinosaurs could giggle, while hunting for the best pebbles to line their beds. All the while, old Brachio, the Brachiosaurus, stretched his long neck above the tallest cycads, eyeing the tenderest leaves only he could reach. With each slow, enveloping breath, the island filled with the quiet crackle and rustle of peaceful dinosaurs greeting the dawn. In the distance, somebody else stirred. Not a dinosaur, but not quite a grown-up human either. Jamie, whose sneakers were more often muddy than clean, peered sleepily from her tent in the gently wobbly research camp. The adults always called it Base Alpha, but to Jamie, it felt much more like a clubhouse, a place where charts, snacks, and mysterious dinosaur footsteps mingled in comforting chaos. She listened to the puffs of dinosaur breath drifting through the jungle as she waited for breakfast. Sometimes she felt as if the island itself was whispering secrets to her, and one day, Jamie was determined to figure out its language. As the warm, golden light grew, the entire valley was painted anew each minute. Shadows stretched, birds spluttered awake, and a parade of protoceratops trotted awkwardly across the riverbank, their reflections wobbling in the cool, glassy water. A single pteranodon swooped low, wings stretched wide, keen to be the first in the sky. He looped once around the tallest kapok tree, searching for a tasty breakfast fish, or, at the very least, a dragonfly snack. Within the safety of her tent, Jamie watched all of this from the crack in her doorway, chin perched on her knees. Out here, mornings were never rushed. Instead, time seemed to expand, every sound and scent swaddling her like a soft pillow. It wasn't just the dinosaurs and the scientists who felt the world slow down out here. The whole island breathed in and out, as if savoring every last sunlit moment. Parrish the Parasaurolophus, now feeling wide awake, nudged gently at a patch of dew-laden grass. His friends, the Trudon twins, called out with a cheerful chirrup. Old Brachio lumbered closer for a morning greeting. Jamie, not to be left out, zipped up her tent and tiptoed outside, careful not to frighten any nearby sleepy heads. Today promised an adventure, not the sort with roaring or running or any sort of hurry. No, Isla Nublar specialized in gentle adventures, the sort that began with a smile and the sweet smell of sunlit earth. And so, with a playful breeze and the dinosaurs stretching into the soft daylight, a brand new day began, sleepy, serene, and full of promise. The aroma of oatmeal mingled with the earthy sweetness of a jungle morning. Pots clinked and spoons scraped in a gentle symphony, marking the slow but sure start of another day at Base Alpha. Jamie bounded from her tent, not even bothering to brush the hay from her hair. She was much too hungry to worry about details like that. The grown-ups were already bustling at the picnic table, pouring hot chocolate and adding extra blueberries to the oatmeal, hoping to win favor with the youngest member of the park. Jamie greeted every scientist by name, earning a playful scowl from Dr. Hartwell, who always pretended to be grumpy until he'd had his coffee. Dr. Wu, already deep into his notebook, gave her a cheerful wink, and even the normally stoic park ranger, Lucy, managed a soft, "Morning, Jamie," as she scanned her binoculars along the forest edge. Outside the camp's boundary, Parrish the Parasaurolophus nibbled curiously at a dappled thicket of honeysuckle. He had discovered a patch the night before and resolved to keep this particular breakfast nook a secret. In the nearby ferns, the Trudon twins peered out, their eyes round and bright as beads. They were always eager for a bit of mischief with their dawn meal. Today, they had a whole game planned, involving shiny acorns and surprising a drowsy stegosaurus named Myrtle. Base Alpha wasn't simply a place to sleep or eat. It was the warm heartbeat of the Jurassic Park research project, a hub for adventure and camaraderie. Jamie relished these slow breakfasts, where topics flowed from dinosaur diets to wild, dreamy plans for future expeditions. She'd even started her own Dino Breakfast Club journal, recording who ate what and who sneaked a second helping of bananas. While Jamie tested the temperature of her oatmeal, a gentle thudding echoed from beyond the trees. Everyone paused, a familiar, friendly sound. Old Brachio was making his slow, deliberate way across the clearing, head rising above the tents like a wandering giraffe with dreams of being a parade float. Jamie dashed to grab 2 carrots from the kitchen crate, because everyone knew Brachio liked his vegetables fresh and crunchy. She always had time for her favorite gentle giant. On special occasions, Jamie would read aloud as her friends enjoyed their food, spinning stories about faraway lands with dinosaurs wearing hats or solving mysteries in underground caves. Today was one such day. Balancing her oatmeal on a wobbly tray, she gathered the scientists and called out for Brachio to listen too. The dinosaur bumbled closer, blinking politely, his enormous head swaying with each word. The Trudon twins scampered nearer, their curiosity overcoming caution. As the tale unfolded, even the usual jungle hum seemed to hush, as if the island itself was listening. Sunlight dappled faces and scales alike, and for a few peaceful minutes, the world revolved around shared stories, soft laughter, and the joy of company under the wide, watchful gaze of the ancient trees. The scientists finished their plates, and old Brachio, thoroughly delighted with his snack and the performance, let out a thunderous, happy sigh before lumbering away. Jamie scribbled a few more lines in her journal, savoring every detail. The way Dr. Hartwell forgot about his coffee, the way the Trudon twins perched on the table leg, and the gentle crunch of Brachio's carrots, each moment like a jewel in the crown of the new day. With breakfast complete, Base Alpha slowly came alive with anticipation. From the deep forest, Parrish peered out, wondering if Jamie would come exploring near his favorite stream. The Trudon twins, full of pep and plans, plotted their morning's escapades. Here, in the dawn light, the humans and the dinosaurs shared a simple, secret magic. They all belonged, woven into the rich tapestry of Isla Nublar. Past the open field, where old Brachio napped each afternoon, a ribbon of sunlight wound its way into the heart of Isla Nublar, the sleepy glen. Lush green curtains of moss draped over ancient logs, and the rhythmic plink of water droplets played a lullaby on the broad leaves. Jamie tiptoed along the tucked-away trail, her wide-brimmed hat every bit as adventurous as its wearer. Parrish, having finally left his breakfast thicket, followed a short distance away, his footsteps muffled by the pillowy moss. He was a cautious explorer, always making sure to leave a little space between himself and the unpredictable Trudon twins, who darted ahead, darting their beaked noses into every hollow and nook. Sleepy Glen was a favorite haunt, peaceful, cool, and full of intriguing scents. Birdsong and bug calls blended gently in the background, and Jamie found herself slowing to a meandering pace. It seemed even the trees encouraged calm here. Her notebook bounced at her side on a string, swinging in time with every crunch of her hiking boots. Today, she whispered to herself, I'll see who naps the longest. It was exactly the kind of important question that deserved scientific attention. Along a curve of the glen, Parrish discovered a puddle perfect for blowing bubbles. He waded in up to his knees, well, up to his knees by Parasaurolophus standards, which was a good deal deeper than Jamie's boots would allow. Each exhaled breath sent clusters of shimmering bubbles floating into the air. The Trudon twins leapt, trying to catch the biggest ones, cackling as bubbles popped on their claws with soft plips. Even the moss seemed to giggle as a stray bubble landed softly, then vanished. Jamie watched her friends and scribbled in her notebook. Parish, excellent bubble blower. Trudon twins, world record for popping bubbles. The sleepy glen seemed tailor-made for gentle discoveries. Near the water's edge, a tiny group of baby Gallimimus tiptoed, their necks stretched long and thin as they fished for snacks in the shallows. A sleepy Stegosaurus, undoubtedly Myrtle after her surprise earlier, dozed in a patch of dappled sun, tail swinging now and then as if to swat away any dreams too bothersome to keep. Everywhere Jamie looked, she noticed something new. Delicate mushroom rings circled an old log, with jewel-bright beetles ambling over the milky caps. Ferns uncurled in almost slow motion. Even her own shadow moved slower here, as if Sleepy Glen ran on its own gentle time. Suddenly, a chorus of gentle snores echoed from the thicket. Jamie crouched and peeked under a woven mat of leaves, spying a den of Compsognathus, each one curled up tight, noses tucked under tails. Parish meandered over, curious, and accidentally let out a soft sneeze, sending the little dinosaurs tumbling like dominoes, rubbing sleepy eyes before settling in again. Satisfied with her discoveries, Jamie stretched out beside the pond, using her notebook as a makeshift pillow. She closed her eyes for just a moment, letting the sounds of the glen, gentle trickles, soft bubbling, the distant tap of dinosaur feet, wrap her in the world's softest blanket. Even explorers needed a pause now and then, especially in a place as welcoming as Sleepy Glen. When she finally opened her eyes, Parish and the Trudon twins were inventing a new game, involving leafy hats and seed pod races down the stream. Jamie scribbled it all down, the record keeper of joys. In Sleepy Glen, time didn't need to hurry. The adventures of Isla Nublar could wait just a little bit longer, while the island enjoyed the simple, sleepy magic of the morning. Jamie's curiosity, like a determined little triceratops, could not be stopped for long. With her notebook filled and her belly grumbling for a snack, she gathered herself up and beckoned to Parish and the Trudon twins. "Let's go see what's behind those rocks," she announced in her best explorer voice, pointing to a cluster of mossy boulders tangled with wildflowers at the edge of Sleepy Glen. Parish perked up, his curiosity as contagious as a yawn. The Trudon twins bounced ahead, noses twitching and tails wiggling in excitement. The rocks, it turned out, marked the entrance to a shallow nook, a hidden hollow, soft with leaf litter and tickled by shafts of sunlight that danced through the canopy overhead. In this gentle hideaway, the air felt somehow sweeter, scented with wild violets and wet leaves. Jamie crouched down to peek under a log and gasped in delight. A clutch of dinosaur eggs, mottled green and speckled with brown, sat nestled in a cozy nest of twigs. Parish let out a soft, musical hum. The Trudon twins, careful not to disturb the eggs, circled the nest in awe, as if expecting the tiny dinosaurs would pop out and join their club at any moment. Jamie took care to record every detail, size, color, even the arrangement of the twigs, for posterity in her notebook. "Maybe you'll be famous dino parents someday," she whispered to the watchful eggs, and she imagined a parade of baby dinosaurs, each with a leafy hat, joining their explorations. Parrish seemed just as taken with the idea, pressing his nose close to the grass and humming quietly. While their discovery was exciting, the hollow itself felt like the world's coziest nap spot. Sunlight dappled the eggs in warm gold, and the woody scent of moss made Jamie's eyelids flutter. The Trudon twins curled up in the corner and let out twin yawns, while Parrish settled gently beside the log, careful not to disturb any eggs or friends. Jamie realized that discoveries didn't always mean running or uncovering fossils. Sometimes the best finds were the quietest ones. A secret hollow, a nest of eggs left safe and undisturbed, a perfect patch of sunlight. She jotted another note. Found, a spot for peaceful watching, best for quiet dreams. A breeze wandered through the hollow, making the ferns sway like waves rolling in slow motion. Jamie lay flat on her back, eyes wide to the chink of blue sky, fingers tracing the patterns in the moss. Birdsong drifted in like a lullaby. Dinosaur snores added a gentle bass line, and together the gentle sounds turned the world softer, almost weightless. From somewhere nearby, old Brachio's distant call echoed, as if offering approval for their gentle exploration. In the hidden hollow, nobody needed to move fast or talk loudly. Jamie and her companions found comfort simply in the company of each other, and the promise that tomorrow might bring new secrets. Eventually, the Trudon twins started a lazy game of guess the cloud shape, and Parrish attempted his own version, tracing sky shapes with the tip of his nose. Jamie giggled and drew each one: a dinosaur, a breakfast bowl, and something that might have been a scientist in a sun hat. As midday tiptoed closer, the group gathered themselves for the slow walk back to Base Alpha. Their discoveries tucked away in minds and notebooks, they left the eggs undisturbed, the hollow even quieter than before. Sleepy Glen's hidden hollow would always be waiting, gentle and secret, whenever they needed to remember that the world could be both wild and wonderfully soft. Beside the glistening, winding river, sunlight danced on the ripples as if the water itself was playing a quiet song. Jamie and her dino friends decided that a riverbank picnic was exactly what the adventure called for after their gentle discoveries. The scientists had packed them a parcel of simple treats: soft rolls, ripe bananas, and tiny carrot sticks, all wrapped in cloth napkins with dinosaur prints. Jamie, feeling every bit like a leader of a grand expedition, made sure to carry the basket herself, though Parrish insisted on carrying the water, balancing the jug on his broad nose with remarkable concentration. As the group settled on the grassy riverbank, Parrish flopped into the shade of a willow tree. The Trudon twins tumbled in happy circles, celebrating the picnic as if it were a rare festival. Jamie unwrapped their snacks on a big flat rock for a table, arranging everything so it looked inviting, which was important for both hungry humans and polite dinosaurs. Myrtle the Stegosaurus, still drowsy from her morning nap, swayed over and joined them, happy to share the shade and any stray banana peels. The river sang a rustling, steady tune, while dragonflies zipped in lazy spirals just above the surface. Jamie found herself watching them more than her food, wondering if even the insects had their own riverbank stories. Parrish nibbled on clumps of water reeds, eyes half closed in satisfaction, and occasionally sent cascades of droplets flying when he shook his head with delight. The picnic wasn't just about eating, Jamie decided. It was a chance to settle, to listen and look, to watch for new things. Myrtle, who had the sharpest eyes among them, pointed her nose upstream, drawing everyone's attention to a family of duck-billed Maiasaura wading through a shallow crossing. The smallest one tripped, splashing all over her siblings. There was a chorus of cheerful chirps and a gentle scolding from Mama Maiasaura, who clearly had lots of practice with little ones and muddy moments. The Trudon twins, never ones to sit still for long, organized a pebble skipping contest. Jamie joined in, and even Parrish gave it a mighty try. His pebbles went straight down with the most spectacular ploop, making everyone giggle, even Myrtle, who tried to imitate the sound with a low, rumbling hum. After their meal, Jamie took out her notebook to draw the riverside scene. The willow tree, Myrtle's shaded spines, Parrish's happy grin, and the twins, who by now were building a tiny rock dam on the river's edge. Each member of the picnic party seemed happier outdoors, where the world felt wider, but also wrapped in calm. As the afternoon wore on, clouds drifted lazily overhead. The sun was warm but not urgent, casting gentle shadows that stretched and yawned over the water. Occasionally, a distant roar reminded them that even in a peaceful spot like this, the wild heart of Isla Nublar beat strong. Jamie found herself thinking about the secrets beneath the river's surface. Fossils, maybe, or lost dino treasures just waiting for the right intrepid snoop. But today was not a day for digging or sprinting. It was a picnic day, meant for drowsy conversations, soft grass, and stories shared in whispers. Jamie passed a banana to Myrtle, who chewed contentedly while dreaming up new ways to splash quietly. Parrish let out a contented sigh, the kind that seemed to make the whole world heavier in the best way, like a blanket at bedtime. One last look at the quiet river, one more deep breath of willow-scented air, and Jamie felt herself settle deeper into the easy, gentle rhythm of the afternoon. If life on Isla Nublar brought her anything, it was the certainty that even a world of dinosaurs had space for slow, sunlit moments and simple joys. Stretching above the sleepy glens and mossy hollows, the Cretaceous canopy trail beckoned with swaying bridges and cloud-brushing treetops. Jamie had always wanted to walk there, where the sunlight painted puddles of gold high up in the ancient branches. She convinced Parrish to join her, and after a little coaxing, the Trudon twins, naturally eager for any high-flying mischief, couldn't resist. The trail began with a wooden ladder lashed to a sturdy kapok tree, the same one where the pteranodon liked to perch. Jamie climbed carefully, hands clutching the soft, worn rungs, while Parrish took the long, winding path that circled upward for clumsy but well-meaning dinosaurs. The Trudon twins eagerly darted ahead, their balance perfect on gently swaying ropes. Up in the canopy, the world transformed. Soft breezes fluttered Jamie's hair, carrying with them the scent of wild citrus and sun-warmed pine. The leaves shimmered in 1,000 shades of green, and birds flitted past in reckless zigzags. Parrish finally emerged, sticky with climbing effort, but smiling proudly, and took in the view as his crest caught the sunlight. The bridge beneath their feet rocked with each step, but far from being scary, it felt like standing on the back of a gentle, swaying dinosaur. Below, the forest looked like a patterned quilt of ferns and sun patches, interrupted here and there by the broad, sleepy back of a dozing stegosaur or the slow swirl of river water. Jamie snapped the picture in her mind and couldn't resist giggling at the grandeur, her own secret dinosaur perspective. Around a corner, the group stumbled upon a lookout platform, lovingly built by the park's crew and decorated with a sign painted Dino Vista in Jamie's very best block letters. She had been part of the official naming committee, of course. Here, the world seemed quiet, as if the canopy itself was holding its breath. Jamie leaned on the railing, watching a flock of tiny microraptors chasing each other between the hanging vines, their feathers liquid in the sunlight. Parrish, emboldened by the height, tried to trumpet out a celebratory song, scaring a squirrel and nearly giving Jamie the hiccups from laughter. The Trudon twins started a contest to spot the smallest insect below, but soon were more interested in the snack pouch Jamie carried. A good explorer always packs trail treats. They munched in companionable silence, listening to the wind whoosh through the branches. It whistled softly, making the whole canopy sound like it was sharing a secret. Jamie found happiness in the simple things, the scramble of little claws, the crunchy apples she passed around, the feeling that today's adventure was exactly the right sort of extraordinary. As the light began to shift, coloring the sky with shades of sleepy blue, Jamie stretched and looked out again over the jungle. She closed her eyes for a moment, committing every sound, the distant hum of brachio, the low chirr of insects, the hollow call of a pteranodon, to memory. On the journey down, they took their time, watching as the shadows grew longer and softer. For Parrish, each careful step marked a victory. For the Trudon twins, the descent was a last chance for mischief and a few surprise pine cone tosses. Safe on the ground, the group felt both tired and triumphant, filled with memories and at peace in the sun-dappled world they'd been lucky enough to explore together. Hidden at the edge of the jungle, where tall reed grass brushed the sky, Triceratops Cove unfurled its soft, sandy beach, a secret known mostly to those dinosaurs skilled at napping. Jamie liked to call it the Dino Dream Lounge. The sand, pale as moonstone, stretched wide between lush thickets and a breeze-brushed lagoon. This was where dinosaur dreams settled close to the ground, and Jamie could always count on a sense of gentle calm. Myrtle the Stegosaurus and a trio of young Triceratops had already claimed the best resting spots, cast in dappled shade beneath enormous cycads. Their bellies rose and fell like tiny boats in a tide, lost in dino dreamland. Parrish, still a bit tired from his canopy adventure, sank down beside them, creating a new, rather lumpy sand dune with his enormous body. Jamie, seeing this, couldn't resist flopping down herself, her toes digging into the powdery sand until they disappeared. The Trudon twins, of course, couldn't sit still for long. They busied themselves etching mysterious spiral patterns in the sand, convinced someone might one day discover their secret code. The lagoon's water lapped gently, sending tiny ripples that tickled the toes of dozing dinosaurs. Jamie, eyes mostly closed, let her fingers trail across the sand as she traced sleepy circles. The soft grains shifted and slid, warm and yielding. Parrots squawked somewhere overhead, quietly for once. Even the breeze seemed well-mannered, humming softly through the reeds. Absorbed in this tranquil world, Jamie felt as if the sand itself was a cozy pillow, encouraging her to forget the rush of ordinary days. Nearby, Parrish dug a shallow hollow, shuffling until his body fit just right. He stretched out with a long, satisfied sigh. The Trudon twins built a fortress of sand, their tiny claws making towers and tunnels that Jamie helped reinforce with bits of driftwood and shiny shells. Every so often, a shadow crossed the sunny lagoon, a pteranodon gliding silently overhead, its wings spreading shade and softer light. Jamie opened her eyes just enough to see the sun glitter off the calm water, where a turtle drifted by, its shell bobbing like a sleepy raft. Here, peace didn't need a signal. It arrived steadily with the washing of waves and the slow choreography of dozing dinosaurs. Myrtle raised her head now and then, blinking as if waking from a pleasant dream, before settling again with a deep, waffling snore. Jamie smiled, her own eyelids growing heavy. She imagined what baby dinosaurs might dream about: fields of flowers, mountain peaks made of marshmallows, or epic games of tag-down prehistoric hills. As the afternoon waned, the whole cove seemed wrapped in the gentlest kind of hush. Jamie rolled her head to face Parrish, who was already snoring softly, crest drooping like a wilting tulip. A row of triceratops dozed nearby, their horns creating pointy shadows that stretched across the sand. With every breath, Jamie found herself sinking deeper into the sand's embrace. She drew pictures in her mind, dino footprints, swirling clouds, and lost all track of time. Safe in the soft, secret heart of Triceratops Cove, surrounded by friends and the delicate sounds of a world at rest, Jamie didn't just nap. She floated on dream waves, carried gently by the timeless peace of Isla Nublar's drowsiest shore. The lazy quiet of Triceratops Cove was suddenly joined by a new rhythm, a soft pitter-patter from the sky. At first, it was a sprinkle, like a gentle applause from the clouds. Jamie opened one eye as a single raindrop tapped her nose, just enough to wake her before she drifted away completely. Parrish snorted, slightly disgruntled to find his sandy pillow growing a bit damp. The Trudon twins, ever restless, scrambled to flip palm leaves over their sandcastle fortress, turning them into the tiniest umbrella roofs. Myrtle just opened one placid eye as if to say, "A little rain, no problem." She didn't even bother to move, certain that a stegosaur built of muscle and dreams could never really melt. Jamie brushed sandy hands on her shorts, collecting her treasures and friends beneath a bower of low-hanging cycads. Parrish shuffled in, careening a bit, as if afraid he'd disrupt the delicate pattern of drips overhead. The Trudon twins, still determined to protect their masterpiece, darted out every so often to check the situation, trilling whenever they managed to keep a wall standing for more than 2 minutes. Beneath their leafy shelter, everyone listened to the gentle percussion of the rain. It wasn't enough to chase anyone away, only to add an even softer hush to the world. Drops fell in irregular rhythms, plip-plop, kerplick, tick-tick-tick, on the umbrella leaves, then bounced onto the already damp sand. Through the foliage, slivers of sunlight gleamed, turning each raindrop into a sparkling jewel as it fell. Jamie took out her notebook and wrote, "This is what dinosaur lullabies sound like." The words were true. Every beat of rain brought a wave of calm. Even Parrish, not especially fond of wet weather, seemed to surrender to the coziness of the moment. He watched the droplets roll down his nose before finally leaning into Jamie's side, letting a warm puddle of peace settle over the group. For a little while, time seemed to curl up right beside them under the shelter, yawning and stretching with every soft gust. Jamie imagined the whole island breathing in sync, every paw and hoof, beak and tail, rocking in rhythm with the rain. She pictured tiny dinos peeking from burrows, old hadrosaurs stretching their necks into the drizzle, and fossils deep in the mud dreaming of their own rainy days. From across the cove, old Brachio's silhouette appeared, plodding through the rain as if he were on his way to an umbrella fashion show. His steps sent up little splashes, and he raised his neck to catch raindrops with an open mouth, as if each one were a drop of the finest lemonade. Jamie and the others waved in greeting, their laughter mingling with the gentle storm. Eventually, the rain lightened, its song trailing off into a series of gentle sighs, drips from leaf to leaf, ripples onto the lagoon, droplets clinging to dino scales like glassy sequins. Parrish stretched and yawned. Myrtle offered the Trudon twins the very best spot beneath her wide, armored back, and Jamie felt every inch of herself growing slow and heavy, as if the rain itself had whispered, "Rest a bit longer." As the clouds peeled away and the world lost its shimmer, the dinosaurs and their young human friend remained still, warmed by each other's quiet company. Rain had its own way of soothing Isla Nublar, leaving behind a world that gleamed and glowed, wrapped in a silky naptime blanket. With the rain now just a memory of sparkling pools and diamond-bright leaves, Jamie and her dino companions wandered from Triceratops Cove, drawn into the heart of the forest where ferns unfurled like green fans. The jungle floor was soft and springy, a patchwork of moss and dappled sunlight, speckled with the lingering humidity from the recent rain. Even the air tasted fresher, a kind of green you could almost drink. Jamie, utterly relaxed, lay flat atop a mossy log, staring up at the huge fern leaves that made a rippling ceiling above her head. Parrish settled nearby, rustling gently as he constructed a nest from gathered fronds. The Trudon twins, now drowsy from their adventures, curled together in the fork of a bent tree root, tails entwined and heads tucked in for a pair of synchronized dinosaur dreams. This was no ordinary nap spot. The ferns arched close, cocooning the explorers in a soft, whispering shelter. Jamie closed her eyes and let the world fade, the rich, earthy scent beneath her nose insulating her from even the faintest cares. The only sounds were the tiny snores of the Trudon twins, the slow snuffle of Parrish, and the distant, peaceful grunt of Myrtle contentedly chewing on leftover palm fronds. As Jamie drifted closer towards sleep, she imagined what the dinosaurs might dream. She pictured Parrish imagining a slide made of dandelions, swift and giggle-filled, ending in a puddle of fresh rainwater. The Trudon twins, surely, were off on a nighttime adventure, racing beetles on moonlit branches or discovering new flavors of berry in a secret jungle glade. Perhaps Myrtle, wise and steady, dreamed of rolling hills covered in wildflowers, with no interruptions from curious Trudons or sudden gusts of rain. Jamie's own mind floated between waking and sleep, mixing memories of the day's gentle adventures in the hidden hollow, the soft sand cove, and the towering canopy trail. She saw herself and her friends wearing flower crowns, dancing to the music of 1,000 creaky trees. Occasionally, a real breeze swept through the ferns, and Jamie imagined it was a friendly dinosaur paw tucking her in. Peace crept slowly through the clearing. Time didn't matter under the ferns. It bent and spun in lazy circles until all the world's hurry slipped quietly away. Jamie's breaths came slower, deeper. Parrish's hum, more of a sleepy whistle now, became the anchor around which the clearing's calm swirled. Even the birds seemed muffled, content to whisper their evening chorus instead of singing out loud. Jamie's notebook, cradled in her arms, slipped to the ground. Dream thoughts drifted in, stories yet to be told, discoveries waiting for the softest moments. She let herself float, a dino, a dreamer, a napper beneath the green tangled sky. All around, Isla Nublar wrapped Jamie and her companions in a blanket stitched with peace, sleep, and the gentle certainty that safe, sleepy places could always be found, no matter how wild the world outside. The afternoon faded into twilight, and a gentle indigo glow swept across Base Alpha. Lanterns flickered along the walkways, casting tiny golden halos on the dew-moist grass. Jamie and her dinosaur friends ambled back to camp, the slowest parade on Isla Nublar, every step measured and unhurried. Even the grown-ups had caught a bit of drowsy energy, moving softly as they prepared for dinner beneath a sky painted with the first brave stars. Parrish lingered at the camp's edge, nipping at wild mint while watching the shadows drift. Jamie, notebook now packed with stories and sketches, dragged her feet in wide, lazy arcs, drawing sleepy patterns in the dust. The Trudon twins, wobbly with contentment, nestled together on a folded tarp near the fire pit, half listening to the soothing sounds of the scientists discussing tomorrow's gentle plans. Dinner at Base Alpha on a night like this was always a communal affair. Bowls of warm soup appeared, thick with lentils and potatoes picked from the garden out back. Myrtle wandered up just in time for a crunchy basket of apples she seemed to sense from a mile away. Even old Brachio stood just beyond the campfire, quietly crunching a stack of leaves provided by Dr. Hartwell, who said it was the least he could do for their tallest neighbor. Soft laughter wove through the camp, and stories from the day were retold with slow, fond voices. Jamie described the hidden hollow and the record-setting bubble popping of the Trudon twins. The scientists listened with tired smiles, happy to soak in the magic woven by Jamie's words. Parrish contributed a gentle snort here and there, while Myrtle, clearly pleased to be included, ruminated quietly, a living lullaby as her tail swished through the grass. The fire crackled, sending sparks drifting into a sky already thick with stars. Jamie felt suspended in a slow, sleepy glow, as if the whole world had remembered how lovely it was to simply rest. Above, pteranodons sailed across the darkening blue, wings silhouetted by the last blush of sunset. The lanterns swayed on slender hooks, each one a tiny guardian against the coming night. As the meal faded and the last stories were told, Dr. Wu began a gentle song on his battered old guitar. The melody looped through the clear night, winding slow and sweet, tying together humans and dinosaurs in a web of shared peace. Jamie felt the weight of her eyelids growing, every note smoothing away the last sharp edges of her day. When the embers glowed low and the cricket choir took over the music, everyone at Base Alpha nestled into favorite sleeping spots. Jamie snuggled into her sleeping bag, notebook under her pillow for safety, and whispered goodnight to Parrish, who curled up beside her tent, eyes half shut and dreaming already of tomorrow's gentle glens. Above them all, Isla Nublar exhaled into the hush of evening, stars glittering down through drifting clouds like dino-sized fairy lights. Tonight, the island belonged to the dreamers, both ancient and new. The stars blossomed overhead, scatterings of silver set into the navy blue sky. Jamie, warm in her sleeping bag, kept the tent flap open just a crack, breathing in the still, sweet night air. Outside, everything moved more quietly. The chatter of the day was replaced by a symphony of gentle night songs. Crickets sang in rhythmic waves. Frogs croaked from deep within the marsh. And somewhere close, Parrish whistled gentle notes of dino sleepiness. Fireflies twinkled above Base Alpha, blinking bright and then vanishing, only to return twice as many the next moment. The Trudon twins, unable to surrender to slumber just yet, padded outside and watched the tiny lights, eyes round as polished stones. They poked delicately at a pair of fireflies, which danced up and away, leaving the twins giggling and whispering quietly. At least as quietly as Trudons could. Jamie found herself half awake, drifting but tethered by the soft chorus surrounding her. The fire crackled its last, a butterfly of warm light in a world otherwise dipped in shadow. Myrtle's silhouette rolled across the camp. She had picked a patch of grass outside Jamie's window, finding comfort in the closeness of camp. Jamie imagined that every snore and hum was a line in the island's lullaby, the wild and the familiar braided together. From the tree line, old Brachio joined in the music. His rumble was barely a whisper, more the vibration of the earth than a sound at all, but it wrapped the whole camp in an invisible blanket. Dr. Hartwell, half awake on his cot, smiled at the sound. Lucy, watchful as always, spun a little thread of lantern light along the path, making sure none of her human or dinosaur charges wandered far. The Trudon twins finally curled together on their borrowed tarp, eyelids fluttering, tails tucked, safe beneath the woven shelter of the research camp. Jamie closed her eyes again, letting the firefly dance replay on the inside of her mind. She thought of the secret hollow, the canopy's view, and the lazy, rain-brushed cove. That each adventure had ended not in wild excitement, but in soft, sleepy peace, made sleep all the sweeter. Far above, a streak of light shot across the sky, a falling star, perhaps a secret wish from Isla Nublar itself. Jamie made her own sleepy wish, that tomorrow would be just as gentle as today, with dinosaur friends, new stories to collect, and another night wrapped in the velvet hush. And as her breathing slowed, Jamie slipped into the soothing darkness, the heart of Jurassic Park pulsing quietly beneath her. All was quiet on Isla Nublar. Deep in the night, even the most restless butterflies had folded their wings. Jamie, tucked into her sleeping bag, felt her mind begin to float with the ease of a feather on a sleepy breeze. The gentle weight of her notebook under her pillow was enough to keep her anchored in comfort, close to her new dinosaur stories and her day's discoveries. Outside, the dinosaurs slumbered, each in their favorite nook. Parrish, curled like a sprawling patch of drowsy grass outside Jamie's tent, grumbled in his sleep, lost in pleasant dreams of gently bobbing reeds and sun-warm patches of moss. The Trudon twins pressed close together, their syncopated snores as delicate as the flick of a tail through dew-wet grass. A faint musical breeze swept through the camp, rustling the tents and stirring the little flags that ticked out from lantern poles. Jamie felt the whisper of it on her cheek and smiled, knowing it carried with it the promise of another day, more gentle adventures, more drowsy dinosaur discoveries. Under this sky, the world was bound together, stitched with moments of soft wonder and stillness. Myrtle the Stegosaurus settled in the grass, body glowing faintly in the moonlight, as if she too dreamed of old worlds and slow rivers. Old Brachio, high among the trees, stood sentinel and silent, head tilted to the stars as if counting their numbers just before closing his eyes. Jamie's thoughts shrank to hushed memories, the sound of rain drumming on leaves, the sparkling dance of fireflies, the feeling of warm sand between her toes and cool moss beneath her head. Each memory settled softly atop the last, creating a nest in her mind meant only for peaceful, unhurried dreams. As sleep deepened, Even the smallest worries fluttered away like shy moths at dawn. Jamie dreamed of dinosaur tea parties, of slow, moonlit walks along the canopy bridge, of adventures where the wild and gentle were always in balance and surprises came not in roars, but in whispers. All through the camp, across every hill and hollow and sun-warmed stone, Isla Nublar belonged to the night and to the drowsy imaginings of friends nestled in for rest. From the hush of Base Alpha to the silent reach of Triceratops Cove, peace settled down and tucked every creature in. And so, in the heart of Jurassic Park, a single human, a parade of sleepy dinosaurs, and a patchwork of gentle dreams drifted together into the softest, slowest sleep. The world outside could wait. Within these nighttime stories, everything was quiet, everything was kind, and every friend, scaly, furry, clawed, or tiny-hatted, was exactly where they belonged. Good night, Jurassic Park. Good night, gentle dreamers. Sleep, and let the island hold you close until a new, sunlit adventure calls.